What's up, Yeti fam? Gen Furukawa here, today with a super interesting project or a theme of projects. And I call this the Robin Hood theme. Basically, stealing from the rich and giving to the poor. Is it moral? Is it legal? Is it ethical? These are all questions that we can get into. We'll get into the details of it and see how successful they are in just a few short days. So, the first one that I want to share with you is Mirror Pass. Now, we came across Mirror Pass in an alpha group that I'm in. Mirror Pass and a few others have started to pop up, and these are basically alpha of alphas. So they're aggregating different alpha groups. So Mirror Pass, for example, promises access to Bored Ape Yacht Club, Mutant Ape Yacht Club, Cool Cats, Azukis, Moonbirds. So Bored Ape Yacht Club, for example, 130th floor today. That's $400,000. Now, not many people can necessarily buy into the project, but if they are able to buy a Mirror Pass NFT, confirm in Collabland, then all of a sudden they are getting access to the Discords. And it is what happens on the back end. And I'm not an owner of Mirror Pass or the other project that I'm going to show you, but they are basically creating a bot. Everything from the Bored Ape Yacht Club lounge or chat in the Discord gets automatically sent through to Mirror Pass's Discord. So you're basically getting a fly on the wall experience. You can't get the real value of the community as in interacting, reaching out, connecting people, and being a real part of the community, but you're getting the alpha. And that's where their mission of Mirror Pass comes in, which is basically that they are trying to democratize access to information or democratize information. So the other one that I came across is Moon Collective. So they are an information hub that mirrors conversations inside the blue chip projects. So the roster here is actually going to be kind of similar. You'll see Bored Ape Yacht Club, Azuki, Moonbirds, Cool. So these are big projects, and I would never have a chance to sniff what the real Discord is, but here we can. And what's funny is I was like, that landing page looks very familiar. And of course, well, if you take a look at Proof Collective, yeah, you can see it, the very similar design and look, the colors. But here's the thing is that doesn't really matter. The value of Moon Collective or the value of Mirror Pass comes with what you get behind the scenes. And that's essentially access to the information. Because as I've spent more time in the NFT space, I realize that the things that allow those people to succeed are the information, the alpha, knowing what projects are on the up and up or are getting momentum to get in early. That matters. The tools matter so that you can understand the data behind it, so that you can snipe in an automated fashion as opposed to clicking refresh really fast on OpenSea when seconds make a difference. And then access to whitelist. That's also super important. That's not a benefit that you'll necessarily get with Moon Collective or Mirror Pass, but it is the information, the tools, and the access, I think, that are the pillars of successful NFT traders. And for a very affordable price, Mirror Pass and Moon Collective are making that accessible. So a fun thing that I thought like, okay, now this is all transparent. Let's see how they're actually doing. So if we take a look, for example, at Mirror Pass, this is 0.238 floor on Monday, May 2nd. And like I said, they launched 3 days ago, I think, at a 0.05 mid price. But if we can look at their public records, this is their Ether scan, $544,000 in transactions in just a few days. That's crazy. So there's clearly a demand for this. People want to know what these blue chips are talking about, because these are the people that are creating the hype, creating the demand, and therefore their inclinations and their conversations will be indicative of ultimately what might be to come. So now we can talk at a high level of what the pros and the cons are. Maybe we can start with the cons. The cons is it is a gray line that this is not necessarily on the up and up. As a result, you'll see that the founders here are anonymous, not docs. And so that makes sense because they don't necessarily want to be targeted because they're essentially stealing information from these groups and sharing it and making a profit on it. So the downside of not being doxxed is it is very easy that this thing shuts down, whether it's due to Bored Ape changing their Discord server or whatever can happen technically. But also these people could just say, oh, you know what? We've already made $544,000 in 3 days. We're just going to move on to another one. Or who knows, maybe they're going to spin up a very similar one, a competitor, so to speak, and do just as much with different. So the other two that I kind of mentioned, the other two downsides are that you're not really a part of the community, because being a part of the community means that you can be part of the conversation. Instead of you're just on their Discord, you're just basically read only status. So you're not making the connections, and that's a big value of why you'd buy a Bored Ape or why you'd buy an Azuki. So you can be inside the community. Can't get that with these types of passes, nor can you necessarily get access to the whitelist raffles or a lot, which are also where a lot of the people are getting a lot of the value. Now, the pros of this, why it does make sense. Well, it's very obvious because you're all of a sudden getting access to what 130 ETH floor project is talking about. Another one is it's very easy to take that alpha, make profit on it. So even just buying in early on a run up in price, you can make that 0.238 very quickly. You can make it. Another thing that I'm realizing too, one of the values of having like a really high signal, low noise type of Discord is that it simplifies the information consumption. Now, I'm finding I spend so much of my time going through Twitter, going through different Discords, trying to figure out, okay, like what projects are making sense? What are the influencers actually talking about? Where should I spend more attention? But it's so draining. It takes so much time. And if you do have a dedicated one location to get this information, it simplifies the do your own research process in a way that's very valuable. So the third thing is that it democratizes access, and all of a sudden you are on the inside track. You're kind of learning and seeing the thought process, the research, some of the alpha calls. So I have seen what some of the professional alpha calls look like, and they might resemble what you'd see from a stock analysis. That here are the kind of basic details. Here's the website, the Twitter, the Discord. Here are their follower numbers. Here's their mint price, mint date. So those are basics. Anybody could find that. But then going a level deeper into the analyses. Why does it matter? Who is founding it? What is their vision? Who's the team behind it? What have they done? And then how does this fit into the macro situation of NFTs now, or what the current meta is? And these are things that the analyses can provide in a very interesting way in tying it together. Now, I don't know if the Bored Ape or Mutant Ape, what their alpha channels look like, but it is something that I've seen, and I can definitely put a value on it. Like it makes it far easier for me to make the decision, yeah, let's dig in more or not. Now, I do want to share with you that I did buy one of these last week, and it was an interesting experience, and I might have been rugged. So it's called Alpha Pass Hub. Do not buy this. I don't recommend it, but just here's a peek inside just so you can see. It started as a mint of 777. It didn't go as planned. It was spun up in a day, which is probably enough of a red flag where I should have known. And then they dropped it by 90% to 77. And I don't even know if that's totally sold out. But basically, they have the alpha calls of, say, Llamaverse or Scavenger. So this is what I was talking about, where the alpha is really well structured. And so they also have interesting like buy points, entry points, where it might be like low risk, medium risk, or high risk. And I like that a lot. And so this is, I don't even know who put this together, but say, for example, in this post, it was in the run up to Yuga Labs' other side launch. And so that totally changed the market. People were taking out liquidity to buy into the land. And so lots of other mid-tier projects were on sale. And so as a result, they were like, here are some of these that I might be investing in at a high, 1+ ETH or mid or low. And I like that. I didn't act on it, but it was interesting to see nonetheless. And it did put a few projects on my radar. Now, like I was saying, I think this might be a rug. I haven't really seen many updates on this since in the past weekend or so, past few days. There haven't really been any updates. So my 0.03 might have been gone into the Etherverse or a metaverse or whatever. I don't think I'll be getting it, and probably low resale. But as a whole, this is an interesting play. Alpha of alpha, the morality, the legality, I don't know if that's, of course, do your own research, but I do think it's a very interesting play. We've seen a lot of demand already and hundreds of sales already. So the two that I was looking at are Mirror Pass and Moon Collective. So check it out at your own risk. But I think that it is interesting because I think alpha is one of the edges that the successful NFT collectors are using to their advantage. So with that said, please do hit subscribe so that you can stay in tune, because I want to start sharing more of my trades, because I do want to be more active and especially as we're moving towards a launch of the Yeti, I think it's a great way to validate that, yeah, we're able to do some cool things with the tool. So with that said, thanks so much. Gen Furukawa here. See you in the next time.